G'day there viewers, and welcome to our 6th lesson, Managing Your Work. Our objective today are to work within our objectives, work effectively and efficiently, have an understanding of work procedures, prioritising of tasks, use of diaries, e.g. to-do lists, action plans, etc., managing things when they go wrong. Effectiveness and efficiency. So effectiveness means to get the desired result. Efficiency means to get the maximum output for the minimal amount of input. So effectively, this could be input divided by output times 100. So that's another way of measuring efficiency. It's possible to be efficient and be ineffective. For example, if you do not put enough resources in, then the output may not be effective. The balance must be between effectiveness and efficiency. So, for example, you can put in a minimal amount of resources and then get a very good result, which would be the effectiveness will be high, but so the efficiency will also be high because you put in a minimal amount of resources. You can also put in loads of resources and get a very poor output, which means you might get an ineffective output but be very inefficient. So that's at the opposite end of the scale. Also, you may be putting a maximum amount of input and then get a maximum output as well. So that's another way of, if you put in lots of resources, normally you get a good result. So that's another way of looking at it as well. So all of these things are connected, but it's important to have a distinction between the two words. So organizational objectives. So organizations can have these kind of objectives, have good customer services. If you have good customer service, then normally the customers appreciate it and will return and do business with you again. Profit. Obviously, having maximum profit means that you can reinvest it into the business, you can give it to the shareholders, etc. And so profit obviously makes the business go round. Environmentally friendly. Nowadays, if the business is not environmentally friendly, customers will quickly change their buying habits to not include you in them. How can the organisation achieve these? Have good customer service schemes, customer care schemes, profit sharing schemes, so where the employee can buy shares for their, for example, maybe bonuses or relating to profit is another way of motivating employees to share in the profits. Green share schemes to cut down waste, such as maybe recycling schemes, etc., things like that. So all of these things can help us to achieve our organizational objectives. Good customer care examples. So you can be efficient, aim to be 100% error-free. That's a good way. Answer emails and letters within 2 days. That's good, but normally it's 5 days. But obviously this company is a bit more efficient than most. Advise customer of delivery timescales. So yeah, obviously if the customer doesn't know when their goods are going to be delivered, they might be not too happy. Problem solving. Take responsibility and don't blame others. Resolve complaints within 10 days. Follow up and check if the customer is satisfied. So it's important to take responsibility. For example, if you start blaming your delivery drivers for things going wrong, then you could do that, and I've heard companies do that. But then if the problem still isn't resolved and you keep on blaming the customer will ultimately hold you to account and not return, because it might be the delivery driver's company's fault completely. But if you don't hold them to account, then your customer will not be happy with you. Courtesy, greeting with a smile and greet your customer with a smile and use their name. Give them 100% of your attention. So yeah, I've been on to call centres where I've had some quite fairly rude customer sales people that were not very helpful. So I think we've all had that kind of experience, and your customers are most likely not to return if they have that kind of experience. Dealing with customers waiting, serving customers within 4 minutes. So yeah, obviously if you go to Tesco's, you might not always get served in within 4 minutes in the queue. Apologise if a customer is kept waiting. So sometimes you get to the checkout and the checkout assistant might say, "Oh, sorry for keeping you waiting," which is always quite pleasurable. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes they are quite moody. Make an effort to reduce waiting times. Obviously, you can open up another checkout if you're in a supermarket to reduce waiting times, and customers will be pleased with this. Using the telephone, answer it within 4 rings, sometimes 5 rings, sometimes it's 3 rings, it depends on your company. Speak clearly and ask their name and check they understand. Some communication over the phone can be quite there can be interference with the phone company, noise in the background. So yeah, it's important to speak clearly and check understanding, because otherwise it can come across as rude if things are not taken the wrong way, and that can happen over the phone. Organizational procedures. Ways in employees are asked to undertake tasks are normally written down in procedures manual or employee handbook. Employee handbook normally has a lot of things. It depends on your organisation. So, for example, I work for a school called Forest Gate Community School, and the procedure was to call the absence line. This is the absence line number by 7:30 a.m. So state clearly the reasons for your absence and your department name and time, and send over cover work to the head of department. So so this could be one of your kind of absence procedures, and obviously it's important to say these things: absence, your department, and your name. For example, I had people ringing up when I was running the cover at Forest Gate, where people wouldn't leave their department. Their name was unclear, and if we couldn't find their department, then you would have to look through the whole handbook to find the name of the teacher to be covered. This was very time consuming because the person just didn't leave their department name. Right, prioritizing tasks. Routines. Have a weekly routine, such as a weekly payment run, monthly bank reconciliation, sending out absences to all staff. So having these routines help you in your work, because you know what you need to do each month, you know what you need to do on a weekly basis, etc., etc. Non-routine tasks, such as ad hoc tasks. So putting up a new classroom is a non-routine task. Preparing for an annual audit, it's not so routine as your weekly, monthly routines. Prepare for international evening, which might be once a year event. Routine tasks are predictable. Non-routine tasks may require extra problem solving skills and extra time. So urgent and or important. So urgent task has a deadline that has to be met soon. An important task is not completing these will have serious organizational problems, such as, for example, if you don't book in and receive an annual audit and you're required to by law, then obviously this is creating a serious organisational problem, because you can be prosecuted for this and have unlimited fines. So urgent and important is priority 1. Urgent and less important is priority 2. Urgent but not important but not urgent. So sometimes you get things that you need to do but they're not urgent, such as we need to book in an annual audit but it doesn't have to be done until next year, or we've just had one, so yeah, basically in a year's time. Neither important, non-urgent. So you might have things that you like to do but are not that important, such as when I worked in a school, we're having the playground refitted, but it's not that important or that urgent because there's already play equipment in the playground. So thanks for listening. We'll stop there for now.